Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Pin Decker, also known as the Sensei, coming back to you again. And I just did a video yesterday, and I'm doing this one on the phone because for whatever reason, my laptop is not particularly powerful. So if there's a lot of, data as in animation graphics or whatever going on, then it seems to knock this sound out of alignment. So for all of you that enjoyed the video yesterday but got a little dismayed towards the end where it started to get a little choppy, I apologize for that. But we are here today once again at Kung Tech Fu. All of my crypto kung fu warriors is you're here because you know something, as Morpheus would say in the Matrix. You're here because you know something, but what you know is that cryptocurrency does indeed have the power to lead you to financial independence. Okay, so if you are here, you already have some inkling as to what cryptocurrency can do for you, thus taking part in the transformational transfer of generational wealth, ladies and gentlemen. So we are here not only to make a little passive income, but we are also here to become our own banks and or to become the the rightful masters of our own financial destiny. So before we get on here, as you can see here on my phone, we have a couple of things. We have a lot of things going on. So of course my phone is completely cryptoed out because I'm completely cryptoed out. And if you're here, that means you are also completely cryptoed out. But we're going to talk about a few tools that you're going to need. Okay. And the whole point of learning cryptocurrency, blockchain, digital ledger technology is for you to be able to navigate so that you can extract the rich resources within, ladies and gentlemen. So first up on the list, we have this, which is, as you can see it kind of circling there, which is UPHOLD, ladies and gentlemen. UPHOLD is one of the best exchanges, and I can't go into it here and show you what's going on with it at this moment in time. I will probably have to take some other measures, but you can go in there for yourself. And what I'll do is I'll leave my referral link down in the description below because it is one of my premier tools. I use UPHOLD every single day. And as we like to say in crypto, there's a few slogans that we go by. And one of those slogans is not your keys, not your crypto. But with UPHOLD, it's a little different, you know what I'm saying? Because we're all about self-custody, of course. This is why we have our own wallets. If you look over here, you see I have an entire section for wallets. I have many, many, many wallets because you can basically think of wallets as your key or entry into that blockchain ecosystem. So, you got wallets that are privy to Ethereum, of course. You got wallets that are privy to Avalanche. You got wallets that are, they specify one specific blockchain. So of course, if you're a real hardcore investor, then you're going to have many wallets, obviously. But UPHOLD is one of a trustworthy DEX where you can actually on and off ramp your fiat in and out of crypto by connecting your bank account, by connecting your debit and credit cards so that you can use it in that way. But also it has many other features. And if you go inside UPHOLD and you sign up using my referral link down below, we can actually both benefit. And I forget exactly how they benefit me on my end. I'm sure I get some type of little perk there. But more so than that, it's not only because I benefit, but you benefit. And one of the ways that you benefit is by getting safe passage through the crypto space. As you all are very aware, there's a lot of hackers and there's a lot of scammers and there's a lot of people setting traps for you out there. And if you go to a phishing site, they will call it, it will look like the real thing. And that's the thing about phishing sites, they look identical to the real thing. So to make sure you have the real thing, you can just use my link down below. And then this way, that you have the official site and you can go there and handle your business. Secondly, I always talk about KINESIS money. I talk about KINESIS money for many reasons. But one of the main reasons is that no one else really is, Not to say that it's not popular among those who know. But it is something that I've been into pretty much ever since I've been into crypto. I've had to have been in KINESIS at least 2 to 3 years. And I was lucky enough to find someone. They weren't hardcore crypto people, but I was introduced to it by this guy. And as I started to learn more about it, I started to see how legit they were. But basically, KINESIS money is about tokenized gold and silver. But aside from that, it is also a fully fledged DEX where you can put, cryptos, blue chip cryptos, as we like to call it, your XRP, your stable coins. You could even use Arab Emirates money, European money. There's a few different types of countries where they support their currency as well. So it's a full DEX, and you can put your stuff out on that. And then, of course, you can put BTC on there as well. Now, we're going to have a little discussion about BTC, but before we get into that, you also have things going on, like MEXC as well. Now, if you use my link down below for MEXC, you could get a special little thing where, because I am grandfathered into MEXC, if you use my referral link, you may have to use a VPN, you may not, but you should not have to KYC when it comes to MEXC. All right. And so it's a wonderful place for you to get your crypto off the radar, so to speak, So those are a few DEXs that I like to use every day. But in fact, what we are here to talk about today is we are here to talk about Coinbase and the implementation of a very powerful platform, if you will. But before we get to that, we're going to have a little discussion, because this is, the entire theme of my channel is things you should know. Okay? Because if you know, you can navigate this environment, and you can extract the rich resources within, which is what this is all about. But you have to know what's going on. You have to know where the sustenance that you're looking for, you have to know where it is, okay, and how to get to it. So I'm teaching you guys how to navigate the blockchain and or digital ledger technology. But first things first, ladies and gentlemen, here's something you should know. Did you know, let's just get there very quickly, that BTC is not Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. I really hate to bust people's bubbles and stuff like that, but this is a bubble that must be bust, because you have been deceived, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to start talking about this at the beginning of every video, ladies and gentlemen. Now, mind you, this is not financial. Nothing I say in these videos is financial advice. I'm not trying to sell you anything. If there's somebody down in the comment section of my YouTube channel saying that it's me and, oh, I want you to meet me over on WhatsApp and we're going to do a private session or something. No. Because first of all, I don't want anything from you guys. I will never ask you for money. I will never try to meet you in some dark alley of the internet so we can talk privately offline or any of that nonsense. Or as one of my friends like to say, if the WhatsApp man gets you, there's nothing I can do for you. So don't fall for the scam of the WhatsApp man. All right. But the world, ladies and gentlemen, has been deceived concerning Bitcoin. And we know this as an actual fact. This is not speculation or conjecture. This is not my opinion. These are actual facts. And it's as actual fact as 2 + 2 = 4. Yes, it is. So that is called the universal truth. Saying no matter who you are, 2 + 2 = 4. No matter who you are, where you are, your likes, dislikes. So you see, it is outside the scope of opinion and conjecture. So concerning that, this, if you go to that's BTC not Bitcoin.com, you will see this article where it will explain to you how the world has been deceived by BTC, and they're calling it Bitcoin. All right. And if you go on down, it's very comprehensive and concerning the 2017 deception given to us by Greg Maxwell and Jack Dorsey, the same guy who sold Twitter to Elon Musk, and his formulation of the COPA team, which pretty much became the overlords and stealing the narrative of Bitcoin so that they could give power and control of the Bitcoin narrative back to the banks. That's the whole point, you see, because the banksters cannot control Bitcoin as a peer-to-peer cash system. So they had to find a way to steal the narrative of Bitcoin and regulate that controlling force back to themselves. Okay, so there's a lot going on here, and you can start to read here, and it's quite interesting. But just to make it a known fact that authentic Bitcoin does indeed exist, whether it's legacy Bitcoin, which is on the old technology, or whether it's Bitcoin on the new technology, which is also authentic as well, because it is one and the same. It's just on the new technology. And that, of course, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than what we call BSV, ladies and gentlemen. And BSV is Bitcoin SV. The SV stands for Satoshi's Vision. You can go down here, you can read a little bit about Bitcoin SV, but it is authentic Bitcoin. It is not a Bitcoin knockoff, because you have many people trying to do a better Bitcoin or something similar to Bitcoin. You even have AI projects that are made in the tradition of Bitcoin. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a saying, something saying like, imitation is the best, kudos to, show respect to somebody or whatever. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but you understand what I'm saying. But Bitcoin SV is not a knockoff. It's not something that is Bitcoin-ish. It is Bitcoin from the beginning. It goes back to the Genesis block, and all of the signatures are intact. Unlike BTC, which segregated the witness. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's get to why we are really here. And why are we really here, ladies and gentlemen? We are here to talk about, something that Coinbase did recently, or is about to do, I should say. And basically, Coinbase is one of the most dominant DEXs, or centralized exchanges, on the planet, especially here in America. Now, because of the Genius Act, ladies and gentlemen, that was signed into law by our current presidential regime, the Genius Act, one of the main things about the Genius Act, I'll just go here and we'll just type in what is, you could do this yourself. What is the Genius Act? I was listening to one of my guys today. He called it the Genesis Act. He misspoke, of course. But the Genius Act is a U.S. federal bill focused on regulating stable coins, a type of cryptocurrency designed to maintain a stable value. It established a federal framework for stablecoin issuers, requiring them to be insured depository institutions. And you can go on and you can read the rest for yourself. But essentially, the Genius Act is primarily for the utilization of stablecoins in a regulatory fashion. So the digitization of the monetary system, or what is actually known as the fractional reserve monetary system, has been digitized, and the FedNow system is indeed digital. The switch has been flipped. And if you don't get in where you fit in into this new digital / AI crypto landscape, you will be left behind. Whether you're a doctor, whether you're a lawyer, no matter what your profession is, no matter how much money you make, you will get left behind, because the purchasing power of the dollar is diminishing and fiat will crumble, as I showed you guys. As a matter of fact, the Trump team, the president of the United States, they are deliberately crashing the dollar even harder than it's already crashing. Okay, so you see, crypto, basically, you will go into cryptocurrency. The only determination is, are you going to go in willingly or unwillingly? If you go in unwillingly, you're going to be locked into perpetual poverty. The middle class will be wiped out, and you will not be able to make the leap because you will be priced out if you try to become an investor later. So your time is now. You have 3 to 5 years to formulate a strong foundation so that you can be a fully self-contained unit, and you will have your own money because you are in the active practice of being your own bank and in control of your own finances, ladies and gentlemen. And once you become fully financially independent, you will no longer have to sell your time for money. That is the whole point of the matter, ladies and gentlemen. So we take a look here at Coinbase, ladies and gentlemen. And basically what Coinbase just did is they are now using, well, first of all, let's just say this. Like I said, this is all for your education. And if you understand these things that I'm talking about, then you will be able to benefit. So I'm not sitting here trying to convince you of anything. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not a salesman. I'm not trying to convince you anything. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not a telemarketer. Everything that I am saying is for your benefit. So you should actually understand that it is to your benefit. See, I already know this stuff. I don't have to do a video or anything. I could just sit here and, go to Coinbase and this project that I'm about to talk about, and sit here and of course I will do that, but I am sharing this with you so that you will be in the know, ladies and gentlemen, because I want for my brother and sister that which I want for myself. So concerning Coinbase, you don't necessarily have to sign up for a Coinbase account if you don't want to, but maybe you do, maybe you don't. That's neither here nor there, because the great thing about crypto is you can get in where you fit in. You don't have to do anything. You could do a little bit. You can, do a little passive income, or you can go hardcore like I do and pull many sleepless nights studying this thing. Okay. But what we are here to do is we are here to talk about the move that they just made with Aerodrome Finance, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Aerodrome Finance is a protocol that utilizes Coinbase's blockchain. Yes, Coinbase, if you didn't already know, Coinbase has its own blockchain, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, it's simply called Base. Okay. Now, Base does not have its own native token as most blockchains do. They simply use Ethereum as their gas token or their transaction token. So when you process a transaction, it will use Ethereum, but not native Ethereum, of course, base chain Ethereum, because the Base blockchain is what we call a layer 2. All right. Meaning that it utilizes Ethereum, but it's a layer on top of the native layer of Ethereum. That's why we call it a layer 2. So yes, Base as a layer 2 blockchain is faster and it's cheaper when it comes to transaction fees. So you see, Aerodrome has been here for quite some time, ladies and gentlemen, and it has a place in here for you to swap deposit so that you can take to the skies. And just a little FYI, Aerodrome actually comes from a previous protocol known as Velodrome with a V, Velodrome, and that came from the Optimism blockchain. Just a little FYI there. But if we scroll down, it shows you here that, it's a durable foundation. Aerodrome is a metadex combining elegant design, intelligent incentives, battle-tested technology to deliver next generation of liquidity infrastructure. Okay. Now you can go and you can look here. What I did is, you see, I'm actually inside my Coinbase wallet. I don't know if this is actually going to pan out. And when I record this, I may have to go to a regular browser to show you this. And matter of fact, let me go ahead and do that because I don't want to have to re-record this. So let me just go over here because I'm simply showing you the landing page. And yeah, we're just going to go ahead to Aerodrome Finance. Aerodrome.finance is how you find this. But when you utilize it, one of the best ways to do it is to go into your wallet and go into the browser section of your wallet and launch the platform from there, because it is very easy to connect your wallet to the platform so that you can do what you want to do inside the wallet on your mobile. Okay, so you can do things on your mobile, or you can also do it on your laptop, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I'm just showing you here. But the thing is that Coinbase, the connection here is that Coinbase this week is integrating Aerodrome Finance as its number one DEX for them to route all of their liquidity. So you see, Aerodrome, my friends, is about to get volume, is going to be exposed to the volume of Coinbase's 100 million users. Okay, so that means that the price of the token and the use of the platform is going to go up astronomically. People that use Coinbase won't even know, a lot of them won't even know that all of their transactions are being routed through Aerodrome. So if we go over here and we go to CoinGecko here, and we look at Arrow, we see now it's at 73 cents. And if we go to max, we can look, and the max is about $2.40, meaning the all-time high, ladies and gentlemen. So because of the amount of volume that we're about to get with Aerodrome Finance from Coinbase, using it 24 hours a day, ladies and gentlemen, all of that liquidity from traditional finance, from retail, that's going into Coinbase will be routed into Aerodrome Finance. So it will be to your benefit to get into Aerodrome, to get some Aerodrome tokens, to provide liquidity, to, possibly even do some vested Aerodrome by escrowing, and just basically building out the ecosystem to the max. The more you build out the ecosystem of Aerodrome Finance, the more you will benefit in rewards and just a very, powerful income stream in your portfolio, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what we have for you guys today. Aerodrome Finance being directly used by Coinbase itself. You can go on YouTube and you can look at all of the interviews with the head CEO of Coinbase, talking about, saying that this very week they will be implementing Aerodrome as the key and foremost DEX being used by Coinbase, ladies and gentlemen. The reason why I repeated myself is because it's that important, because I really need you to understand the magnitude and the enormity of what's about to happen, ladies and gentlemen. So with that, this is the Pendecker and or the Sensei signing off once again to all of my crypto warriors. It is time for us to go ahead and do what we need to do and take responsibility for our own financial futures, because very soon things are going to change, ladies and gentlemen. I already told you how everything is being phased out. And in 3 to 5 years, if you do not have a handle on cryptocurrency, if you do not have a handle on AI, if you do not have a handle on DePIN, which is decentralized physical infrastructure, digital ID, your data, this is all happening within crypto. So the more you know, the more you will be in control of, yourself and your financial portfolio concerning crypto. All right. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, you already know this is the Sensei signing off, and you know what we got to do each and every day as we learn how to make money in our sleep, as we catapult ourselves into financial independence. We will continue to get this crypto.